Hello, everybody. Just thought I'd jump in here for a little bit. Nothing major to talk about, just me, myself, and I tonight. Alex and Joe are not in here. They probably could be if they wanted to. I think it's still early in the evening, but I just wanted to jump in. I was, the whole. Here, let me back up here a little bit. Over the last week or so, with everything going on with Russia and the world and China and so on and so forth, I heard a number of the political pundits out there talking about how the entire January 6th committee trial has. I think it was actually CNN or one of the big media things actually canceled their coverage of it because there were so many other things going on. They knew nobody would be watching the January 6th stuff because it's all. I mean, in my opinion, it's all just BS anyway. But that's just me, and it always sort of has been. Yes, sure, there were some rowdy people and they got in there, but they might have been busting some stuff up, breaking windows and those people who did vandalize and who did, maybe hurt somebody else or whatever, they should be tracked down and prosecuted for what they did. But the other side of the story, which the politicians and the mainstream media don't really want to talk about, are the people who were there. Maybe unknowingly, they didn't really realize the magnitude of what they were walking into, who just went along with the crowd. I know that's not a great thing to do. It's not good to just go along with the crowd all the time. It's just not it's not recommended because it's like lemurs. They just jump off the cliff one after another until they're gone. So whole genocide, whole extinction. But there were a number of people who were there who were there probably to, in their own mind, to do like a civic duty, to like stand up to what they felt was an unjust system, a tyrannical government. And again, I got to be very careful here. And YouTube, if there's a YouTube person listening now, I'm not saying anything about doing any call to action or anything. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I'm just sort of commentating on what I thought might be going through their head. So it's nothing to do with now or any kind of call to anything. So they thought they might have been doing some kind of civic duty in their own political beliefs, but it got out of hand, and there were probably some rabble rousers, as we've learned. One was that guy Ray Epps. I don't know if the full story or the true story's ever come out about him, whether or not he was a federal government provocateur, provoking people to do things. I mean, he was caught in video literally saying like, hey, let's go to the Capitol. I'm quoting now YouTube, moderator, people who might be watching this. This other guy was saying, let's do these things. And even the people who were Trump supporters, even they were reluctant to even believe this guy. They were actually yelling, "Fed, Fed, Fed, Fed." And they're like, they knew that this guy was trying to provoke them and stuff. And ultimately, I don't know how many people fell under that Ray Epps guy's spell, if any. But I got a video here to show you. My dad was watching CNN coverage of the January 6th. They were playing like raw footage from that day, and you see it's all from the politicians' side. They're all frantic and they're scared to death and everything. And sure, I understand if they're a little bit scared, but I think if they would have stood their ground with protection, with police and agents and stuff, and maybe let like a delegation of the people who came into the building that day, if they would have let them in, like a delegation, escorted, formal, to voice their grievances, which is what you should be able to do in the United States, to voice their grievances, and everything, and then let it go from there. And then maybe if a politician's moved by the people, literally the people coming into the people's house and everything, you know, coming in to give their point of view, then maybe a politician would have been inspired to like say, hey, maybe there is something going on here. Maybe we do need to listen, you know? Yeah, that's my dad. So, and then there could have been like a movie involvement, sort of like the Independence Day when I forget the actor's name when he's the president. And he's like, we need to stand up to the aliens. We need to, and then everybody got the jet planes and flew up, and Jeff Goldblum, unloaded an alien virus or a human X86 virus or whatever, like a computer virus into an alien ship, like the operating system even remotely compatible. That was, you had to suspend disbelief from a technical point of view. But so, but maybe if they would have handled it better on both sides, maybe the people not be quite so rowdy, maybe the politicians not be such scaredy cats of the people who they represent, and then and if the police were, the police were controlling the situation. I mean, yeah, again, there were some rowdy people that caused some stuff, and that Ashley, I can never remember her last name. She was a United States Air Force veteran or whatever who got shot by a Capitol police officer, that day. So yeah, it's sad, and she was being a little too rowdy. I remember a video of her trying to climb like a window and I think she was trying to bust it and climb up, and just to yell. I mean, she could have never, if I remember correctly, she could have never fit through the window. It's not like she was a physical threat, but the officer fired around, hit her in the neck. And the video I remember seeing directly after that was her literally bleeding out on the floor. You could hear the last breath, the last breath from her before she succumbed to the bullet wound. So there was some action there. There was some stuff that went down on both sides. But so yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna get to this video. So everybody, I'm trying to not use too many keywords, but the guy with the flag and the big horns and the fur. Anybody who follows this topic knows who I'm talking about. I'm not going to say any keywords, but I got the video queued up here. I'm going to see if I can pull it up of him. He's walking. Okay, let me preface it a little bit. He's walking on to the Senate floor. He's walking on to the Senate floor. I don't know at what point. I don't know the timeline, but it had to have been after a lot of people were cleared out. But so the main guy who was sort of the poster child of the entire January 6th thing, walking into the Senate chambers calmly. Yeah, he's a little bit vociferous and he's like cussing a little bit and stuff, but he's nice. He's polite. There's a police officer following behind him calmly. There's no big deal. There's no urgency. There's no rush. And I just want you to listen to what everybody says in this video. I'll go ahead and play it.
Hey, man. Glad to see you guys. You guys are fucking patriots. Look at this guy. He got covered in blood. God bless you. You good, sir? Do you need medical attention? I'm good. Thank you. All right. I got shot in the face. Where is it? I got shot in the face with some kind of plastic bullet. Any chance I could get you guys to leave the Senate wing? We will. I've been making sure they ain't disrespecting the place. Okay, just want to let you guys know this is like the sacredest place. I know. Hey.
So that was taken on that day, clearly, like I prefaced the video. It's the main guy, the letter before R, walking into the Senate chamber calmly with a police officer, escorting him from behind. There was another officer, I guess, in there too, or maybe flanked and came down from the left flank. They nicely asked the guy sitting there, do you need medical attention? He's like, no, I'm okay. I got shot in the face with some kind of plastic bullet. And then the police officer kindly asks, is there any way I can ask you guys to leave the Senate chamber? And they're like, yeah, we will. And, and the officer specified how sacred of a place this is. And they're like, yeah, we know. I was trying to keep people from disrespecting the place. I mean, I I don't know. Again, like I said earlier, there were rowdy people, but there were really good people there too who truly respect the place. But they were there to speak their opinion, to voice their grievances. And sure, there might have been obviously better ways to do it, but regardless, that's what happened that day, and nothing can change that now. I'd like to find out who that guy is and see if he's still in prison somewhere, rotting away. I mean, he literally right there. He probably wasn't even totally aware he was being recorded. He might have known a little bit, but just honestly saying, I'm just trying to keep people from disrespecting the place. The officers were calm. Everybody was calm. Peaceful interaction. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stories, a lot of different sides, but I just think it was on both sides. On both sides, it was handled the wrong way, and I really think that if they could have maybe calmed down the rowdy folks, or at least even pulled them out and got the people who were truly there to out of some kind of, again, level of civic duty in their own mind, and then had some officer or somebody bring them in, let them speak their view and everything in front of God, the world, and everybody, the Senate. It could have been so much more peaceful. It wouldn't have been. But I don't like to conspiratorialize without any kind of evidence. But I really think that some of the people on the left really wanted this to happen. They wanted it to happen. So we would be in the situation we are now, trying to disqualify Trump and anybody who believes in him as insurrectionists, as bad people, and trying to keep Trump from running for office again, continuing the impeachment after he's out of office. So I'm just sort of going to leave it at that. I have enough audio issues, and so I'm just probably going to wipe my OBS clean and start from scratch and get all the settings back to where they need to be. So everybody have a good night, and peace out.